Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 7. This is going to be my reaction video and my thoughts on it. I'm excited to see this episode. We've had a great season thus far. No complaints at all. It's been pretty extraordinary, honestly. Really good season. It's just going great. Love the show. Everything is pretty great. Obviously, everything doesn't always go to plan, at least not my plan, but it's still enjoyable. It's nice to see what happens. There's twists, all kinds of good stuff. So, yeah, I mean, if you leave a like if you're excited, and let's just go into it, guys. Hold up. Was that I'm gonna cry. Was that a this happened in the past, or is this a in the now moment? Is he alive? That's so cool if he's alive. That's so cool if he's alive. I like the Hound. I hope it's him. I mean, it is him. But what I'm saying is, sometimes for Bren, we saw in his flashes, with the Three-Eyed Raven, we saw him see things from the past, and I don't think they were showing anything from the past. But you never know with this show. I'm gonna go with the idea that he's still alive, and that is awesome, because I like the Hound. That is so cool. That is so cool. I mean, because if it was in the past, would he still have the burns? I mean, I know that happened when he was a kid from his brother, but yeah, how cool is that? The Hound is back, ladies and gentlemen.
In all my days, I've never seen a man swing an axe like that. How many men did it take to cut you down?
Just one.
Oh.
All right, we're back.
Monster.
He was a woman.
Maybe it is the Seven, or maybe it's the old gods, or maybe it's the Lord of Light, or maybe they're all the same fucking thing. I don't know. What matters, I believe, is that there's something greater than us. And whatever it is, it's got plans for Sandor Clegane.
You didn't know me back in my time. You don't know the things I've done.
I've heard stories.
If the gods are real, why haven't they punished me?
They have.
Lot to think about, Interesting. Wonder if he's going to become religious. It would seem a little out of character, but he has had that, life and death situation, where he basically was laying there dead. He was left to die. I don't know. I mean, he could want to want to learn more. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what he does with that. You know, I agree though. You know, there's a reason he's still here. Because really, he thought he was gonna die a dozen times. I thought he was already dead. That's incredible. I'm excited he's back. He's a good character. That's cool. That's cool. Wonder if Arya and him will run into each other again. That's intriguing. Very interesting.
The king mentioned that since your reunion, you haven't joined him in the marriage bed.
No.
You have a duty, Your Grace. To your husband, your king, your country. To the gods themselves.
It's just... the desires that once drove me no longer do.
Congress does not require desire on the woman's part. Only patience. The king must have an heir if we are to continue our good work.
Forgive me. Sometimes the true path is hard to find.
Hard to find, and harder still to walk upon.
All right, this creepy old man telling her to get pregnant. That's just creepy. I understand the whole, king's got to have an heir. Like I understand that. That makes sense logically, but this is uncomfortable. What's he gonna do? Sitting there, putting his hand on her now. I don't know. This is creepy. Creepy. I don't know that anybody would want an old man to tell them that they need to have a child. I don't know. It's just, it's something's off. Something's not right.
His only hope is to confess his crimes and repent. If he does, the faith will allow him to return to Highgarden. He'll have to renounce his name and title.
Have you lost your mind?
And live his life as a penitent.
He is the heir to Highgarden, the future of House Tyrell.
He can begin again.
As a mindless fanatic.
As a free man.
You will leave for Highgarden today. There is no law that says you must stay here.
I am the queen. It is my duty to serve my husband, the king. But you should leave, grandmother. Your place is at home.
I will never leave you. Never.
You must. Go home. Find comfort in prayer and good works. The mother watches over us all.
Well, good. She's not as crazy as we think, but she's living among the craziness. She slipped her grandmother something. That's good. That's good. Hopefully her little keeper didn't notice what she gave her. Man, I was wondering, I mean, the way she was going at her grandma, I'm like, man, did you actually lose your mind? Yeah. The High Sparrow, man. This is messed up. This is all just bizarre and unfortunate that this is happening, but, this is what happens when you play with fire.
The crows killed him because he spoke for the free folk where no other southerners would.
He died for us. If we are not willing to do the same for him, we're cowards.
And if that's what we are,
we deserve to be the last of the free folk.
Wow, that was powerful words right there. I mean, he's right though. Jon did die for them, and if they can't do the same, I mean, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate it always goes to war, but I think that's reasonable. I mean, it's also, this kind of stuff happens quite a bit. I mean, it's Game of Thrones. Everybody's trying to get to be the leader. There's a lot of tactical stuff that goes on. Of course there's war. Of course there's fighting. But I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. You take a step back when you actually think about it. Individuals' lives are at stake. And, Jon does bring up a good point, though, that they will come for the crows if if they can. Jon's kind of the one in between them, so you might as well fight for him. Otherwise, you're in trouble without him,
No.
Did the giant say no or snow? I think he said snow. I'm pretty sure he said snow. I'm going to turn on captions.
No.
Yeah. That's what I thought he said, but it's snow, no. I'm just deaf. But, yeah, awesome. That's good that they're willing to fight with him. That's good. I mean, I think they owe it to him. He did save their life, so I think that's a good thing. But it's unfortunate that it's come to this.
Leave him rotting in a cell.
Loras rots in a cell because of you. The High Sparrow rules this city because of you. Our two ancient houses face collapse because of you and your stupidity.
You're right. I made a terrible mistake. I carry it with me every single day.
Good.
I delivered an army of fanatics onto our doorstep. And now we must fight them together. We need each other.
I wonder if you're the worst person I've ever met. At a certain age, it's hard to recall. But the truly vile do stand out through the years. You're going to kill them all by yourself? You've lost Cersei. It's the only joy I can find in all this misery.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a good point. She did lose. She's lost. We lost, as the grandmother said last episode. What does it mean? It means we lost. But I hope she gets out of there for her sake, the grandmother. I hope she does escape, and I hope she is able to get home to safety, because, I mean, otherwise she's screwed. They're going to throw her in a cell and do who knows what. Last we need is more people walking down the streets naked.
We didn't know you were coming. Because you didn't set a proper perimeter. You just allowed 8,000 men to approach unchallenged.
Good thing we're friends, or we'd be fucking you in the ass right now.
Have Lord Edmure bathed and fed.
Whoa. Will do. Edmure is a prisoner of House Frey.
As far as I understand, you're a Snow, and Lady Sandra is a Bolton. Where's she a Lannister? I've heard conflicting reports.
I did what I had to do to survive, my lady.
Interesting indeed. This little girl's got some spunk in her. I mean, I guess you'd earn that when you become the the commander or the queen. I don't think we met her before, but my goodness. So I don't know. That's interesting. You know, as far as she's concerned, he's a Snow, and she is somebody else. Yara's calling. And we're back. Game of Thrones.
I am a Stark. I will always be a Stark.
If you say so. In any case, you don't just want my allegiance, you want my fighting men.
Ramsay Bolton cannot be allowed to keep Winterfell, my lady. It is our duty to stop him. Even more so because he holds our brother Rickon Stark as prisoner. What you have to understand, my lady, is that...
I understand that I'm responsible for Bear Island and all who live here. So why should I sacrifice one more Mormont life for someone else's war?
If it please, my lady. I understand how you feel.
I don't know you, sir.
Davos, my lady of House Seaworth. You needn't ask your maester about my house. It's rather new.
All right, Sir Davos of House Seaworth. How is it you understand how I feel?
You never thought you'd find yourself in your position. Being responsible for so many lives at such a young age. I never thought I'd be in my position. I was a crabber's son, then I was a smuggler. And now I find myself addressing the lady of a great house in time of war.
House Mormont has kept faith with House Stark for 1,000 years. We will not break faith today.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. Good for him, man. Speaking up like that. And he was able to connect with her and make sense of everything. And she folded. Not folded, but you know what I mean? Like she's gonna help them. That's really good. Good for them. That's awesome. That's awesome. I didn't think it was going to go that way. I had to take a little bit of a break because I had to help my wife with some things and then had to get something to eat because we were getting tired of all the work we were doing. And it's been a while, but, you know, I left and I didn't think it was going to go this way at all, the way I had it paused. So, anyways.
There's nothing else to say.
I would remind you that House Glover is pledged to House Stark. Sworn to answer when called upon.
Yes, my family served House Stark for centuries. We wept when we heard of your father's death. When my brother was lord of this castle, he answered Robb's call and hailed him king in the north. And where was King Robb when the Ironborn attacked this castle? When they threw my wife and children in prison and brutalized and killed our subjects? Taking up with a foreign whore, getting himself and those who followed him killed. I served House Stark once, but House Stark is dead.
You know, it was good that Sansa spoke up, but the man's got some good points, you know. Robb Stark made some mistakes. Marrying that girl, for one. But you know, it's nice Sansa's still trying to talk the talk, but, you know, and remind people of what's going on. I mean, everybody's, you know, that's helping Jon out is a part of this, and it's not going well for them. But the man's makes good sense. You know, where was the Starks when they needed them? Nowhere to be found. So this is an uphill battle for the Starks for sure. I don't necessarily see this going their way, at least not yet. It doesn't appear that it's going to. You know, and with all the wildlings and then the 62 men, I mean, they just don't have a very big army. Smart girl. You got to reach out to Peter Baelish. You know, it's interesting in the behind the scenes they talked about how Peter Baelish still has a hold on Sansa, just over the fact that she wouldn't kill him, and now she's reaching out for help. But I think it's a hold or not, it's a wise decision. They don't have enough men, so seeing what Peter Baelish can come up with and her cousin, that's a good bet. It's a good bet indeed. Much better than just going in and getting slaughtered like Stannis Baratheon did.
Can't afford it. Where'd you steal this from?
What do you care?
I leave in 2 days. You can have a hammock in steerage.
I want a cabin, and we'll leave at dawn. See you at sunrise.
Oh, Arya. Oh, I hope she gets out of here safely. I am concerned about Arya. Also, the Hound. I like the Hound. I want him to do well. It'll be interesting to see what happens to him if he changes his ways, or, I mean, you can't just change overnight, So, it's nice he's helping these folks out. I don't really understand who they are. I mean, the guy found him and, brought him back from the dead, essentially. But, I don't know. I'm worried about Arya, though. I mean, she's got to know they're coming for her, but we'll see how she handles it.
Sweet girl.
Oh no. Huh. Well, I had every right to be worried about Arya. Where'd she first slice her? I thought she went for the throat, but looks like she's just doing the chest. It still very easily could kill her. I mean, she's in the process of being murdered. They gonna take her face too? Oh man, I liked Arya. I like Arya. Maybe she's dreaming. Yeah, right. Oh man. I was not expecting that. I did not trust the old lady, but I didn't know that they were going to full on stab her. Well, she's still alive right now. But they know where she's at. Oh, man. Here I am, all excited. I'm like, oh, we get the Hound back. This is great. We're going to have a great episode. And then they freaking stab Arya. I mean, she didn't do what she was told. She didn't do what she should have done. Oh, man. I'm stressed out now. I don't know. I mean, she's not dead yet, but she's going to die. She's going to die if she doesn't get some help. Wow. Hound was right. The Hound was right not to trust them. It's not even nightfall. Wow. Came back and slaughtered everyone. Wow. Jeez. What an episode. This is intense. Wow. Wow, that ending. Arya getting hurt. the just everything. Everything. All happened so fast, too. Well, I'm going to watch the behind the scenes, and then I'll hopefully wrap up some thoughts and get some kind of conclusion in my head.
10. The more we thought about it, Jon is going to come up against so many old guys with beards in the north that, like, what if she was a tougher audience? It seemed like an inherently fun scene to watch. It also is terrifying because it's putting a lot of dramatic weight on the shoulders of somebody who needs to be very young. And we're very lucky to have found Bella because she is doing such a great job of just talking smack to these guys who are used to being the heroes who make proclamations.
What you have to understand, my lady, is that
I understand that I'm responsible for Bear Island and all who live here. So why should I sacrifice one more moment life for someone else's war?
I'll never hurt you. I know you've had some bad years.
Some bad years?
But I'm tired of watching you cower like a beat dog. Drink the goddamn ale.
It's a very tough love, though. Yara is not a therapist in our kind of sense of the word. She's not there to, tell him to buck up and everything's going to be okay.
If you're so broken that there's no coming back, take a knife and cut your wrists. End it.
It's a pretty brutal kind of therapy, but that's who they are. I mean, they're essentially a Viking people. There's not a lot of room for sort of soft and gentle psychology. I think it's the kind of tough love that Theon needed at this point. And when he finally raises his eyes and looks into her eyes, we see a glimpse of the old Theon that had been lost for so long.
Yeah, that's tough love, though, but you got to be careful with that kind of tough love. Don't want to tell that to the wrong person. I mean, it's different back then, but I'm just thinking nowadays, that is not the proper thing to say to anybody that's in Theon Greyjoy's position. But hopefully it works out as a positive, not a negative for Yara and Theon Greyjoy. Well, you've made it to the end of the video. That was a tough episode to watch, especially the ending there. It kind of caught me off guard, to be honest with you. I didn't write down a lot of notes like sometimes I do. I did write down at the beginning, I made kind of a face, and I left that part in. I made a face when he says, "I've never seen a man swing an axe like that." And I'm like, he was swinging it normally, Like, I mean, he was swinging it like you should, right? But what he was doing was, kind of letting the axe do the work for him. That's the whole idea of how you swing an axe. So I found that a little odd, and maybe I'm, hyper aware about axe swinging. I've done a lot of wood splitting in my life, and so it just seemed like a weird line to me, and I don't really quite understand why or what that was about. Maybe he felt like he was swinging it aggressively, or I think maybe it was more along the lines of how hard the Hound works, nonstop and doesn't take breaks and stuff. Maybe that was more along the line of what he was meaning, but I'm like, he clearly hasn't seen very many men swing axes, at least not properly. Yeah. There was a lot to unpack in this episode. There was a lot to also with the different houses making moves, some of them agreeing to work with Jon, well, one of them, and then, obviously the wildlings agreeing to work with Jon. That was a big moment. But I agree with Sansa's thinking that that's not enough men. They don't have enough men to take on, to take back their castle. They don't have enough men for that. You saw with Stannis Baratheon how his men just got slaughtered. They didn't have a chance, and they were just slaughtered. So you don't want to see that happen to Jon as well, and all of his men and the wildlings. The wildlings have grown on me. At first when they were the enemy, it was kind of, I don't know. Obviously I'm rooting for Jon Snow and the Night's Watch, but then when Jon was able to talk to them and communicate with them and gain their trust, that's when my mindset kind of swapped a little bit, rather than thinking of them as the enemy like everybody else in the Seven Kingdoms thinks. Not everybody, but a lot of them. I'm glad Sansa is reaching out to Peter Baelish. I hope that he's able to make that difference in the battle. I hope that her cousin has enough men that they can send, and it can make a big difference for them. Because I don't want Jon to die again. I don't want them to fail. It would be nice for the Starks to finally get a victory. You know, even if it's just taking back what's already theirs, or should be theirs. It would be good for the Starks to get a victory, because they haven't really had one. I mean, I guess Bran finding his uncle, that's a victory in and of itself, but you know, they've had a pretty rough go of it. Speaking of Starks, Arya Stark, I really hope she doesn't die. I feel like, I mean, I don't know what she's gonna do, you know. I don't know that anyone's gonna help her. It definitely doesn't seem like anyone's gonna help her. I don't know, that I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I knew from the last episode, especially watching the behind the scenes, that there was a chance, or a good chance, that, you know, I knew that people were going to come for her. And I didn't say anything when the old lady was approaching her, but in my head I'm like, you can't trust her. But I didn't know the old lady. First of all, I didn't know the old lady wasn't an old lady. And then also, I didn't think she was just going to immediately start stabbing her, you know. I thought there would be more of a conversation first or something like that, and it just caught me off guard. This show catches you off guard quite a bit. It's a good show to react to because, you know, even if you have some form or knowledge of Game of Thrones, like, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, I'm shocked that I'm still talking about Jon Snow. And then, speaking of shocked, the Hound, like, I thought he was dead. Arya left him for dead. I thought he was dead. I am super happy to see the Hound. You know, it's tough because, you know, the Hound saw what happens to people that are weak and can't defend themselves. But I do agree that the person that saved him, you know, saying that there's a reason he's there, the gods allowed him to live. And also the whole, when the Hound was like, well, they haven't punished me for what I've done. And the guy was like, no, I think they have. I mean, one, his brother, his face. I mean, the fact that Arya left him for dead. I mean, there's a lot of things that you could argue is a punishment, you know, that's not an ideal situation. So I'm really glad he's still around. I don't know where he's going, what he's planning, what he's doing. I'm not in his mind. I wish I was, to some degree. I'd like to understand a little bit more about him. I'm just glad this character's back because I like the Hound. I mean, he's not like a good character necessarily. I mean, he does dirty stuff, or, you know, kills people. You know, Arya had issues with him, but Arya and him came to somewhat of an understanding. I don't know. I'm glad he's back, but I wouldn't have traded him for Arya. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a good trade. I don't know. I mean, she looks really badly hurt. I mean, she's just blood's gushing out of her chest or stomach area. And I mean, I think there is a possibility of survival, but only if she gets help. And from what we saw at the end of this episode, nobody was going to help her. In fact, she was basically invisible to them. You know, they all seemed to be kind of looking past her. Nobody seemed shocked that she was standing in the middle of the road bleeding. So, yeah, this left me with more questions and more concerns for the characters. You know, I know this was a heavy episode as far as, you know, seeing the different houses and also, you know, just learning things about different houses that I didn't know about. The little girl that they mentioned there at the end, she did do a great job acting. She did a great job, and she seems like she's doing a good job leading her house too. And I thought the actress did a really good job. You know, it's nice to see even somebody that is coming in at season 6 and it's their first appearance, you know, they can still make an impact on the show and do a successful job. And I mean, she sold me. I didn't think she was gonna swing for them. You know, I thought she was gonna do her own thing. But yeah, I mean, she was able to help them. I know 62 men. That's not a lot of men, but you know, if her house really is small, maybe it's a good portion percentage wise as far as how many she's willing to offer. But yeah, I'm excited to keep watching the show. I'm going out of town, just for you to know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I am finishing this video up Sunday night. I'll be able to post it tomorrow, and so it will come out on Thursday. So there shouldn't be any issues with that. I'm hopeful, fingers crossed, of course, with copyright laws and all that. But I'm hopeful we'll be able to have a flawless post, and you'll get this video, and then we can keep progressing with the show. I do have a couple reenactments coming up as well. So I'm really trying to push myself to get videos out ahead of schedule rather than doing it like the day before, because I would like for you to continue to get the videos every Thursday. So I know we've talked about that before. We've gone back and forth. I've had issues with getting them posted, and I am really trying. So take it if you like it. If you don't, sorry, but there you go. Yeah, Game of Thrones, good episode, good show. Yeah, I mean, to go off of what I said earlier, I mean, I meant it with the whole Yara and her brother thing. Tough love. Yeah, I hope that he becomes Theon Greyjoy again. I don't want to see him slit his wrists, though. After everything he's been through, I mean, you could understand why he might want to do that or think to do that. But hopefully it works out for their family's benefit that she said all that. Also, I mean, their relationship is different than like me and my sisters. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something that would have ever worked well if somebody had said that to me when I was going through some of that stuff. Obviously unrelated, as far as, I wasn't abused or, I never mind. I'm not going into details. I haven't been through what Theon Greyjoy has been through, is what I'm saying. But, tough love, hopefully it works for him is all I'm getting at. Hopefully it works for him. So, but yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Hopefully the length's okay with you. I don't want to ramble too much at the end. And I do try to add stuff when I have something to say, but sometimes I don't react to every scene just because I don't always have a reaction. But, hopefully you're still enjoying the videos. If you are, feel free to let me know. Other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful week and a great summer. Thanks for watching. Bye.